Hey everybody, Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard here. So, as we know, I'm not big into doing YouTube drama videos talking about who did what and said this. Although, a fair amount of you I got as new subscribers because I was in an article talking about YouTube drama. But it's not really my forte. I don't really try and dive into that. But I thought I would kind of do something interesting, and I want to talk about my top 10 big YouTubers, just people that inspired me to make a channel, or people that I watched who I gained tips and tricks and maybe kind of emulate their personality and their style and give some editing ideas, things like that. People who currently inspire me and who have inspired me in the past. Thought it'd be a fun time to go through it. Maybe you can learn a little bit about me, and maybe you can find some new channels. So, let's just dive right into it.
Number 10, the Angry Video Game Nerd.
So many of you may not remember the infancy of YouTube 10 years ago, when basically it was cat videos and people getting hit in the nuts and weird foreign videos. So the idea of somebody doing a regular scripted show was something I never thought would happen. It didn't even cross my mind that that could be even a possibility. And then I found the Angry Video Game Nerd. This guy who had a scripted, edited, well-made show about playing old video games. And it just blew up. It was huge. It became a giant thing. And really, he was on the forefront of this whole making shows on YouTube, really. I mean, if you make a regular show on YouTube, you owe a little bit of credit to the Angry Video Game Nerd, and that's why he's on my list. He may not have directly inspired you, but someone you're inspired by would have been inspired by him. He is the forefront of doing this, and he brought, I think, a lot of stuff like nostalgia and gameplay channels all together. He started a lot of that. He was the grandfather of where we're at right now. Now, his channel nowadays is more devolved into just a basic gameplay channel, and a really boring one, if you ask me. It's not really my forte. But yeah, the idea of a regular show coming out was not something you would think about on YouTube, and and also just gameplay videos is not something you would think about as well. So for that, he was the first really person I followed before even subscribing was a thing. I would still find his regular shows, so that's why I had to put him on this list.
Now you're playing with power. Now you're playing with fucking shit. You're better off fucking shit than fucking with this fucked up shit. Fuck this shit. You don't know shit about how fucking shitty this fucking shit is. It's so bad it sucks. It's so...
Number 9, Jenny Nicholson.
So from one of my first YouTube people to one of my more recent people that I found, Jenny Nicholson, I think I found... she does a lot of Screen Junkie stuff, more of the Star Wars stuff. But then I stumbled upon her regular channel, and it's an incredibly simple thing. It's just her on her bed chatting about movies or fanfic or whatever, but it's her incredibly dry, ironic delivery I find incredibly funny. When she's reading a bad fanfic, it is the best. She has some really good insight into things as well, and also some really good Star Wars knowledge and some ideas on that. But it's just an incredibly simple show, and her being really funny. I love her style of humor, and I really enjoy it. So yeah, Jenny Nicholson, some good stuff.
Well, I hope you're happy. I'm never happy.
Number 8, Linkara.
Of course, I gotta get one comic book guy on here. Linkara was one of the guys I found on the ill-fated website, that guy with the glasses. But I'm not gonna go into that whole bundle of bees. But Linkara, I actually stopped following him for a while, but picked it back up again. I'm not someone that follows a lot of comic stuff. I just prefer to do it myself kind of thing. But he does have a pretty good personality and a good style. It's a lot of meme humor and stuff like that, and so I can see some people not liking it, and even for me, some of his humor can be grating. But what I like about him is his attention to detail, where he goes, gives backstory to characters, and like you feel like he knows something, like he will go in depth on things. As well as his series running down all the seasons of Power Rangers, I found incredibly fun. And I think he was, part of the forefront of Power Rangers being a comeback where people weren't embarrassed to say they enjoyed Power Rangers, but fully embrace it. At least for me, that's when I realized other people still like Power Rangers. He has some good stuff. I can see a lot of people not necessarily liking his style, but I enjoy him a lot.
What pisses me off about it is the lack of consequences. Oh sure, stuff happened afterwards in regards to the Hulk in his books, more adventures for the Warbound, Meek surviving and doing stuff, and of course Scar would eventually find his way to Earth, but when it comes to Mr. Fantastic, Iron Man, Black Bolt, and Doctor Strange, not so much.
Number 7, Maven of the Eventide.
So this is one of the ones that you could, you'll see a direct influence.
Good evening. I am the Maven of the Eventide, and welcome to Vampire Reviews.
Hello, I am Undead Matt, and welcome to my macabre movie mania.
Influencer theft, you decide. Hopefully she doesn't mind, but yeah, Maven of the Eventide came out as she was a side character in the Nostalgia Chick videos. She actually showed up originally as the makeover fairy and kind of developed her own show, and I love it. So she talks and reviews everything vampires. Vampire books, movies, TV shows, what have you, everything vampire, but done in a very theatrical way. And I like that. I like doing it in a character. It definitely inspired Undead Matt in the way he acts and things like that. The idea of doing a review in this whole character and, going in depth. And she has some really good film knowledge and talks about, the meanings of things and, the differences of vampires from this medium to another medium and why that matters or why it doesn't matter. Some really cool stuff within there. And you know what, let's face it, she has an incredible wardrobe. She is always dressed to the nines, which is a great attention to that character's detail that I really love. And it's just a really fun show to watch, and I really enjoy it.
So, yeah, that was The Neighbors, again. Apparently I'm bringing the property value down or something, and they want me to keep the curtains closed. Well, joke's on them. I like it in the dark anyway. I don't need moonlight to read my book. I have candles. See? They're inside of little skulls. Oh!
Number 6, Call Me Kevin.
So I actually don't watch a lot of gameplay channels. It's just not my bag. I'd rather just play the game myself. But I understand if you like it too. I'm not ragging on you. I'm just saying that's not my thing. But if I do watch your channel, you should feel lucky because it's really not something I follow. But Call Me Kevin is so funny. His commentary is right on point. I don't know if it's just his accent or what, but he is hilarious.
Water under the bridge, am I right? Oh, Jesus Christ, he's got some gremlin walk going on. That's all he needs right now, isn't it? It's like he already looked terrifying enough. May as well get an old gremlin walk on top of everything else.
And it's just also the fact he plays video games wrong. He's not just doing a playthrough, like he goes off the map, or he tries to mess with the game and he crashes his games all the time. And just has this incredible commentary over it. And like he has a Sims series where he has a dungeon in his Sims house where he keeps his slaves. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing to do in The Sims, but he figured it out. And so it's just this really irreverent, just kind of gameplay channel with some solid editing done in there as well, so it doesn't feel, dragged out or boring. Like he knows what to cut and what to leave in, and I find it incredibly funny. I laugh so hard when I'm watching his show, and he deserves mentioning. And I almost sort of kind of met him when I visited England, surprisingly enough. Sort of, maybe. Long story. But yeah, it's cool.
Jim's Cult Club gathering has started. Oh, this is already creepy. Ah, yes. Here's the first member in their club-appointed uniform. Oh, and here's the second one. Hey, you're a vampire. Get out the sun. Go on. Woohoo with everyone. Oh, she's off. Oh, this is great. This is perfect. How didn't I get this expansion pack before? How did I not know about this?
Number 5, Scott Manley.
So another gameplay channel, surprisingly, but with a twist. So I really like the video game Kerbal Space Program. It's a lot of fun. It's a really cool space physics, things like that. But when I first got into it, I was having a really hard time playing it. I couldn't figure things out because you got to know a decent amount of rocket science to play it. Or maybe not exact, but you have to know how certain things work. And so I checked out some gameplay footage to see if I can get some hints and tips. And that's where I found Scott Manley, who is an amateur rocket scientist who knows an awful lot about rocket science, who explains it through Kerbal Space Program, and that's incredibly engaging for me. I love space, I love learning about it, so it's great to hear him explain it and use Kerbal Space Program as the visuals. He also does some other stuff where he just talks directly to the camera about new stuff happening in science and space and things like that. And it's incredibly interesting to me because I'm a huge fan of space. But he's incredibly knowledgeable, and they are very good videos. It's just incredible information and stuff I love, and really easy to follow. And it's a really great channel. So if you're really into space, check out Scott Manley.
Now, human consumption of rocket fuel was actually regarded as a serious issue at the Peenemünde rocket facility, and steps were continually taken to limit this pastime. Early on, a nasty pink dye was added to the fuel to make it undrinkable, and that worked for about a week until somebody figured out how to filter out the dye by passing it through a potato.
Number 4, Todd in the Shadows.
So one of the last people I got into from that guy with the glasses is Todd in the Shadows. It's an incredibly simple premise. It's just him reviewing pop music sitting in a dark corner. That's pretty much it, but he has just this incredible knowledge of music and some incredible comedic timing. He is really funny, really fun. I enjoy what he does a lot, and for me being such a grumpy old man, he's kind of my window into what's popular in music, so I can at least have some knowledge of, I know what this guy's about. He also has an incredibly good show called One Hit Wonderland, where he talks about one-hit wonders and goes over their entire history. And then another one where he talks about top artists having a bad album and going in depth in that album and what happened. It's all really good stuff, all music-based, and he's just incredibly knowledgeable and has some really good comedic timing. I really enjoy him.
Thunder. What's thunderous about this? Look at this guy. Is he even doing anything? Is his guitar even mic'd? If I tune into a rock station and someone's singing about thunder, it better sound like this.
Number 3, Allison Craig.
So her channel's called Movie Nights, but her name's Allison Pregler. She used to go by Obscurus Lupa, but has since kind of shedded that moniker. But she reviews low-budget, terrible movies. Just really bad stuff you'd find in the dollar DVD bin stuff. But just has a great timing with it, and is really funny and knowledgeable. But the icing on the cake of her channel, the real draw for me at least, is Baywatching. She goes over every single episode of Baywatch, one episode at a time, and it is hilarious. I laugh so hard every time. Her voices, her timing, just these running gags that are happening. It is so funny. I absolutely love it. Last year I got really sick, and I just spent the day in bed just put on a playlist of Baywatching and had a fantastic time and actually felt better after. So yeah, it's such a funny show. And then she's got some other things, other reviews, and does some stuff with riff tracks. But she's incredibly funny and finds the weirdest movies, the weirdest, oddest movies, and I love it. She's incredibly fun to watch, so definitely check her out.
And what's Mitch doing? Surprise, he's cooking meat!
Air conditioning is like a new concept in cooling?
Yeah, that's the beach, pal. We don't need air conditioning.
Only losers suffer from heat stroke, Hopester. Suck it up and eat your burger.
Number 2, Mr. Sunday Movies.
So I'm actually more of a fan of the podcast that Mr. Sunday Movies does called The Weekly Planet rather than his YouTube channel. But I did find The Weekly Planet because of his YouTube channel. So I think it's definitely worth mentioning. So he does a lot of comic movie stuff, trailer breakdowns, Easter egg videos, just straight reviews, things like that. But he has just this incredible comedy that I absolutely love, and it's why he's got such a big following, is just the way, I don't know, it's just his style of comedy. It's amazing. Like, watch his top 7 tropes that need to end video where it devolves into just him bitching about having to work out. It is the funniest thing.
Stop asking actors how they got into shape. It's the same goddamn question in every interview.
What's the diet like?
Regime. What was the health regime? I read...
Because when you go on the diet of Superman, what does Superman eat?
Also, the answer should just be, don't even worry about it. You can't do it. You don't have the personal trainer who specializes in this. Also, nobody's paying you millions of dollars to work out. And even for me, a professional and handsome actor in the long term, it's next to impossible to maintain. Plus, how are you, a regular person, going to prepare the 57 meals a day required to do something like this on top of, say, a full-time job? And maybe also you have a 2-year-old at home, which means most of your meals consists of eating the half-eaten Vegemite toast and pieces of old fruit that he doesn't end up eating. Just give it to me straight, Hemsworth. I can take...
I absolutely love it, but it's his sense of style and the way he pronounces things wrong on purpose or gives nicknames to bad things. It's really funny, and The Weekly Planet just builds more on that. It's incredibly funny. And I think this is one where you can see a lot of my comic styling kind of played off of what he does, because I love it so much. I try to emulate that when I can. But he's so fantastic. And also, you can't put a price on the fact that because he exists, I know what gay wizard Hitler is. And that is amazing, and you cannot put a price on that.
This is from Sexy Matt. From this, do you think Ant-Man and the Wasp will take place before Infinity War, or will Ant-Man have little or no role in Infinity War? Well, I guess this is kind of the question, but for me, it depends on how Infinity War ends up. Because if the world's like absolute toast at the end of it, then it would have to take place before, obviously. We will find out when the movie is in theaters, but also probably before, probably after Infinity War, then they'll probably be, more kind of open about all of that. David Green says, how sexy is too sexy? That's probably more of a question for Sexy Matt. He is the authority on sexy, it would seem. Alright, just gotta...
Number 1, Lindsay Ellis.
And finally, it is good to end on the one channel that when a video is released, I stop everything and I watch it. It doesn't go on my watch later list, I watch it now. Lindsay Ellis started as the nostalgia chick on That Guy with the Glasses, but has split off and does her own thing, and it's really amazing. It's incredibly in-depth film theory about a lot of things. She just got done doing a retrospective on The Hobbit, not just going over The Hobbit, but what The Hobbit means to acting, to filmmaking, to what it did to New Zealand, and all through her, eyes and this, incredible view. And she has a really good deadpan delivery for her jokes that land really well, but for me, it's definitely the film theory. She has this running show where she goes over film theory through Transformers. The terrible Transformer movies is what she's going to use to explain film theory, and it's amazing. It's almost like going to a film class without, going incredibly in depth. And I find it incredibly interesting and engaging. She's so knowledgeable and such good personality. I really love her channel. It is some amazing videos, and I enjoy them wholeheartedly. And I've turned friends onto her. I've turned anyone I possibly can. I tell about Lindsay Ellis. And so, yeah, if you're not watching her and you enjoy film, you should be watching her.
Auteur theory also has some good points. It holds that there is a distinct style and preoccupation throughout a director's body of work, and you can see this in action with most directors. Spielberg with his dad thing, Tarantino with his revenge thing, and Michael Bay with his...
I ate the whole plate. The whole plate.
Well, we'll get to that.
So that was my top 10 big YouTubers. And I feel like this is a very brave list because YouTube has the ability that these people at any moment in time can turn terrible and turn into awful, awful people. And it'll be on the internet forever that I once praised them. So hopefully none of them do that to me. I had to choose very wisely when I did this, but I hope you found some channels you'd like. I am going to do this again, but I'm going to do small YouTubers. People who do need me to promote them. Because these people, they don't need me promoting them. They're not even going to realize this video exists. I'm not going to hear anything from them probably. But that's fine. They're just what inspired me. But I do want to do one where I talk about smaller channels that do need attention and I really enjoy. But hopefully you found a new channel. Who's your favorite big YouTuber? Let me know in those comments below. Hit the thumbs up because this is a YouTube video about YouTube, and you know, those are big money, man. That's where the popularity is. So yeah, I'm Sexy Matt the Pharaoh Wizard. Until next time, hold on to your hold slots.
Go, yeah, what? I'ma let you know my spare time. Go, yeah, what? I'ma let you know my spare time. Go, yeah, what? I'ma let you know my spare time. Go, yeah, what? I'ma let you know my spare time. If you ain't ever been to the suburbs, don't you ever come to the suburbs, cause you wouldn't understand the suburbs. Yo, some husky, your corn, I'm as deep as a pot.